Hello and welcome to another Baering the List, an ongoing video series where I use Tier Maker, who are not a sponsor, but Tier Maker, let me know. I use that website to rank things. Sometimes I find lists that people put out, and I'll do food and anime and wrestling and all kinds of different categories, and then just rank them. Using Tier Maker. I'm building that list out, but I'm bearing the list because my name is Pat Bear. Get it? You get it. Anyway, this was a suggestion left in one of my comments. You can see in the comments below. If you've got an idea, if you see a list that you'd like me to do, you can link to that, or if you have an idea for a list. And the idea was top 10 anime betrayals. Now, I could have used that. What was a meme. It was taken out there by Watch Mojo. They did their top 10 anime betrayals. I could have ranked those 10, but a couple of them I didn't think were interesting or really made the list, like should make the list. So I did my own. I just looked online for the betrayals, thought about myself, and kind of decided, okay, I'm going to rank these. Now, what's the criteria? Does it really affect the story? Is it the driving point, or is it kind of like, oh yeah, okay, that's important to the ranking. Did you see it coming? That's very important to me because to me, one of the reasons why a character who's lost their memory and then as soon as they get it back murders a guy. That's a spoiler for an anime. I'm not going to say which one. That's not a top 10 anime betrayals. You should have seen that coming. That's a good point here. Spoilers. I'm going to talk about plot twists and betrayals and character moments. So yeah, get ready for that. And let's get into a doozy one. Where does this rank? S, A, B, C, or D? Griffith becomes Femto in Berserk. If you watched the original Berserk and you thought it was awesome, maybe don't watch the last couple episodes because bad things happen to characters you like. Now, the extent of what Griffith's betrayal happens, how he betrays everyone, what becomes of him, is enormous. What is entailed in that, and the driving force for the next series, an ongoing story. I can't say enough about how important that is. But as a betrayal, the lengths of the betrayal, certainly. But you knew something was coming. Maybe you didn't know that was coming. You knew something was coming, right? Not just because of the foreshadowing in the story, but also just because that's that dude. He thinks of all these things that it never occurred to him that he would be betrayed because he's the one that betrays. So someone leaving, he ruins his timeline. He screws up, and then he blames him, blames Guts for that. But the betrayal was coming. So, obviously, it's incredibly huge what happens, and it's devastating. But the betrayal was going to be there. He was going to betray them. Of course he was. He was going to get what he wanted. We'll put an A. Mocha kills Mayuri. Steins Gate. Now, Steins Gate isn't an anime that I particularly care for. I don't like time travel as a concept generally. I think that some shows, like Charlotte, spoiler for Charlotte, sometimes time travel stuff is kind of cool and interesting and done fairly well. I think in that story, it's interesting how it was presented. But this one, I didn't see coming. It is a top tier anime betrayal. They say it's always the quiet ones. It's not always the quiet ones. Often it's the ones that they've been setting up because sometimes anime is trite. But this one, okay, yeah. Is this the... And it's this thing where it's it is the catalyst, but it's not the catalyst, but it is the Steins Gate is confusing. But anyway, what I'm saying is this is a top tier anime betrayal. Excellent anime betrayal. when a character you like takes part in betrayal. Oof, even sweeter, even sweeter. And then because also you're like, so it wasn't misgivings. You were trying to influence what was happening. Oh, I like it. Cube's contract from Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Magi Madoka Magica. So Madoka Magica. So here's the thing. This is a dark. I'm going to spoil this show. So spoilers, of course. So this little guy with his creepy red eyes that's supposed to be cute but never felt cute to me gives young girls a contract to make them into magical girls to fight and hunt down witches. But the emotional toll on the magical girls means that they inevitably become the witches that they were hunting, and then he goes and finds new magical girls to then go through these hardships to become these things in a vicious monster cycle. But of course he did, because it's a dark look at magical girls. So it's C tier. It's not D tier. It's not D tier. It's C tier. Because it's like, yeah, of course that is. Oh, because of course. Of course. I mean, it's just the thing. It's not a betrayal, really. So we'll put it in C. Because it's kind of interesting. Itachi kills his clan in Naruto. So this is one odd to me because there's a lot of factors going into this, right? So it's not just that he becomes a Akatsuki member. It's a thing of like, so he's given a choice, right? The clan is his family, his clan is going to try to oust the third Hokage, they believe. And then Danzo's like, kill everybody, and Sasuke can live. And then you just go off and you're an enemy. Now, trusting Danzo seems... I don't understand why anyone ever... People should just be like, hey, we're going to strip you of power because you're clearly evil. And the evil that we can kind of blind ourselves to, we can't do that anymore because what's going on? But, yeah, he's manipulated by Danzo, who has manipulated his whole family to have this revolt because he doesn't trust them, because they put in a position of, they're the police force, which is supposed to be cool, but obviously isn't, because then people don't trust them, and they always feel inferior, and it just doesn't work. So it doesn't work out at all. And then of course it makes this whole thing of Sasuke's later betrayals, which may be even more of a personal betrayal. So it's odd because it's important, and you gotta wonder, was there another way to quell this rebellion? Because you have to assume there might have been. He might have just been like, instead of killing everybody, I'm just going to convince them not to do this, or I'm going to try to convince them not to do this, instead of murdering my entire clan to save one kid. Also, why are you threatening my brother? He's not part of this. So we'll put it in B tier, because it worked out okay, but it also... Here's the thing. Here's why it's B tier. Because it is an anime betrayal. Because he betrays his whole clan, and then betrays, theoretically, the whole... Because then it's like, oh, well, no, he's the bad guy, so he technically protects his whole clan's legacy. But also it led to Sasuke being an emo. So... Annie. And then, by extension with Annie, the other two members... Bertolt and Reiner, who are Titans. Attack on Titan. Now, with Annie, you kind of saw some stuff coming. And maybe there's some Reiner and Bertolt, you maybe see some stuff coming. This is a big anime betrayal. They've been Titans this whole time. And two of them, the female Titan was a trouble. The later two, huge trouble to the series. This whole time. two of the most dangerous of them, and their plots and what they're doing. I kind of like Reiner's madness because he's just tried to compartmentalize what he's done because he's lived a lie for so long. I think that's interesting. Whereas Annie probably wasn't the best at hiding it, but as a fighter, really great. Also, can we say female Titan? It's just lame. This is a good place for me to say that's lame. Oh, it's the female Titan. She does stuff other people can eventually do, but she's female. What if a guy eats her? What happens then? Does he become? What happened? Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's A tier. It's good. It's a good betrayal. I don't like Attack on Titan. I wish that it wasn't a show about people that turn into Titans. I wish it was a show about humanity's last defense against the Titans. I just think that's a better story than what the story has become. And I don't give a shit about it. Also, the creator of it sucks. Eh. Okay. I threw this in because you got to throw in a low tier. You got to throw in this is shitty betrayal because it just not only is it's shocking a little bit, but it doesn't work out at all. So this is Walter turns on his master and turns on everyone from Hellsing Ultimate. This is young Walter here. Walter, you kind of liked him, but also it's Hellsing. You kind of don't like anybody. Like I don't think anybody's particularly great in the series. They're not really doing it for me. Nobody does because that's the point. They suck. But yeah, Walter. It's like, why? Why did you? Because of youth? But also, you trusted people that were clearly didn't have your best interest in mind. Why would you trust people? It's a shitty betrayal because inevitably, in the end, it is very ineffective. So yeah, that's our D tier. We needed a D tier. Archer is a counter guardian, fate stay knight. Yeah. So I don't know why he tans, but Archer is an alternate timeline of our main character. He becomes a guardian. All his ideals that were, depending on the story, either implanted in him by his dad falsely, because his dad turns out not to be that, or is just his code of ethics from growing up, about the kind of man he wants to be and what he wants to do to protect people. And Archer becomes the counter guardian that puts down, that tries to stop the games and comes to this timeline to kill himself, or the weak version of him. And he inevitably betrays, because he doesn't, he ends up betraying his own master, going his own route. And it's not, it's plot and it's interesting. It's not a huge, you're betraying your own master for this game, so your alternative, and I guess you could say he does betraying his own ideals. But I'll put a B tier because it is a little shocking, and then you're like, wait, what? But is he the worst villain in the series? No. Is his betrayal particularly harsh? I guess in Fate Stay Night, not really. In other ones, yeah. But yeah, I think that's B tier. Not all betrayals are bad. It's not always that a person you think is a hero turns out to be a villain. Sometimes betrayals are justified, surprisingly interesting. We've got Sasuke betrays her mom in Kill la Kill. So Sasuke, who we think this whole time is our antagonist, and she's the antagonist. Turns out, spoilers, she's the sister of our protagonist, and she's been mistreated by her mother horribly all these years, who is the actual villain of the series, and eventually, pushed down, abused, mistreated, stabs her mother in the back. And it's a pretty great betrayal. It's unexpected because you think, oh, well, in a climax of battle, the sisters will reunite for facing each other and turn on their mother. No, this doesn't happen necessarily like that. That's not the turn moment where it's just like, no, you can't kill my sister. And she sacrificed herself, that kind of thing. It's just like, you know what? No, I'm just going to stab you. I'm just done with this. We'll see what happens in the future, but okay. So yeah, that's an A tier right there. All right, let's get into our next one. I told you I'd do a shorter one. It's still going to be a pretty good length, but it is certainly not the 30 minutes of sandwiches and WWE champions from 2009 to 2019. Stocking is a demon from Panty and Stocking with garter belt. Fallen angels trying to get back into heaven. But Stocking wasn't. And then kills Panty, I guess preventing it. What? So there's out of nowhere betrayals, and then there's this is the last episode. Ha ha ha. Gotcha? It's a gotcha. So like I don't like it. I think it's a is it a good betrayal because it comes out of nowhere? Should it be a mid-season betrayal and then you change the scope of the show and you know it's like turns out I've been doing this all along, but it just I don't think it's good. I don't think it's necessarily good, and then I think it's a weird way to end a series. So nah. And then this wasn't Watch Mojo's top 10. Aizen betrayals the Soul Society Bleach. Aizen arguably the best big bad in Bleach. Fakes his own death, so that makes it more surprising. Seems like a nice guy, and again, the quiet ones, maybe you don't always trust them. His level of betrayal and how it manifests itself, I think is incredible, and I think it's well done. And it's cruel, because he's just been waiting, especially because he's the nice guy in the soul. I think, yeah, I guess if you're too nice, if you're not like stupidly brave or stupidly like want to just destroy things or kind of shifty, I don't know if I trust you in the Soul Society. If you're like the nice guy in the Soul Society, but you're just nice, you're not like chivalrous, you're not extra. Yeah, if you're not extra into the Soul Society, I'm gonna not really trust you. And I think this is a good example of that. He was just too nice, but it's a good anime betrayal. Leads to some good fights, good storylines. Our main character has to sacrifice in order to defeat him. Good fight scenes. Yeah, so we'll put that in S tier. I think it's a great anime betrayal, and that's gonna do it. I made this list. Is there an anime betrayal that you think should have made this list? Because I know that there are obviously other ones out there. There's X was the X 1999. Like people cite that one, but that one you could kind of see coming. So I didn't include that. But there are other anime betrayals out there, obviously, where a character seemingly is not who they seem, but like I know there's one coming up in an anime I'm watching right now, but to me that's not a betrayal because the guy's last name is his evil last name, so I expect him to betray. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see me do in the future, and if there's any anime betrayals that I'm missing, or if you're like Walter really broke my heart, he should be higher up, or I don't like Attack on Titan. It wasn't that big. They were too many clues, or whatever. Let me know in the comments below what you think are some betrayals I missed. Oh, I didn't include Utena. There's a betrayal in Utena that I include because it's wrapped up in a lot of like real emotional hardship, and it just didn't feel like I wanted to bring it up. Especially in queer stories, queer betrayals. I just didn't want to include it. So that's one for you. You can mention it in the comments, but I didn't feel comfortable including that one. It's a weird one. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and leave a comment below. Like you said, betrayals I missed, ranking how you would do. If you want to do your own, you could do that. Or if you have ideas for future videos, let me know. And I'll see you on the next Baering List. Bye-bye.